Today I'm talking about something every leader runs into, whether they admit it or not, and that is difficult conversations. I know that I definitely struggle with this in my career, and honestly, at times it can still be a struggle, especially if you're working with someone who just wants to be difficult for no reason. And let's be honest, most people don't struggle because they don't know what to say. They struggle because they don't want to say it. They want to avoid it. They want it to go away. I get it. These conversations can be awkward, uncomfortable, stressful, whether it's with a teammate, a peer, a business partner, or someone above you. But avoiding them doesn't make you a better leader. It usually makes things worse. So I'm going to walk you through five real strategies that you can put in place right now to handle these tough conversations without things blowing up or watering yourself down. So let's get into it. Number one is to set the stage before you say a single word. This is crucial. This is important because before we even talk about what you're going to say, we need to talk about when and where you're going to say what you're going to say. This is where a lot of leaders trip up. You can have the right message, but if you deliver it at the wrong time in the wrong space, you're already cooked. I mean, you're done, right? Here's what I mean by that. So let's say that you need to address a peer whose performance has been slipping, and now the team is feeling it. You don't want to bring that up in the break room. You don't want to bring it up around everyone else. You don't want to just slide into in the meeting at the end. That's crazy. You don't want to do that. That's not how leaders do things. You got to set up a private space, somewhere quiet, somewhere respectful, somewhere where they don't feel defensive, right? That alone is going to lower defensiveness in people because they can hear you differently. They don't feel exposed, right? Or maybe you see tension building between two team members. You're not going to just have them go at it in the meeting, right? You got to talk to them outside of the meeting. Leadership is different, right? So here's how you got to do it. You schedule that. You name the purpose of this meeting. You give people time to prepare instead of reacting because people, trust me, people are going to react because we like to react on emotions. I mean, even in group conversations, how you open, how you set it all up matters. Because if you start with blame, people are going to shut down. If you start with purpose, collaboration, improvement, solutions, you're going to change the energy. You got to say things like, let's talk about how we can get better. What's getting in the way right now? That shifts people from being defensive into problem-solving mode. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is leadership. Number two is to lead with active listening, not assumption, because you like to assume a lot of stuff. Now let's talk about what active listening is. Because first, if I'm being real, a lot of leaders think they listen, but they really don't. They just waiting to talk. They're waiting to get their word in. They're waiting to say what they got to say. Active listening means you're not already crafting your reply while someone else is speaking. You're actually trying to understand where they're coming from. It's not listening just to respond. It's truly listening to understand. Now, picture a team, right? You're having a team meeting where opinions are split on the project. You can feel it. Some people are excited, some people are tight, some people are just quiet for, whatever the reason may be. You can feel the tension in the room building up. A strong leader is not going to ignore that. They're just not going to let that slide. Some people will. I've seen it. I've seen leaders allow behaviors like that to slide. You might say something like, look, I know that we're not all seeing eye to eye right now, and that's okay. I want to hear everyone out. No interruptions. I want to truly listen. Then you back it up. You make eye contact. You nod. You ask clarifying questions. You rephrase what people say. So what I'm hearing you say is that you're concerned about scope creep and capacity. Did I get that right? Right? Listen. Right? It does two things. It shows respect and it keeps everyone aligned about what's actually being said. Once everyone is heard, that's when you look for patterns and share concerns. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, everybody wants the same thing. Quality, time, sustainability. They just see different paths on getting there. That's when you say something like, well, it sounds like we all care about getting things done the right way without burning the team out. So let's go from there. You set the foundation so you know where you can go from. That's how you move people forward. Not by talking louder, but by listening better. That's leadership. Number 3 is to use I statements. Don't attack the person. Yo, I'm telling you, this right here is a big one. Don't attack the person. If you want a conversation to go left real fast, go ahead. Start attacking the person instead of addressing the behavior, right? You can't say things like, you always mess up. You never do this right. That ain't leadership. That's not it. And as a Franklin Covey certified facilitator, one of the best things that I've learned and that I've seen reshape people's thinking is the use of I statements. Now, you would have just thought that I gave them the cheat code to effective leadership, right? Is using I statements. Things like, I've noticed that last week's report has some errors. I'm concerned about how that's landing with stakeholders. Then explain the impact. When that happens, it puts pressure on the team and affects our credibility. Now you got to talk about how to move forward. I think a review of this process, this step could be helpful. Can we take some time to put something in place? That's a huge difference between pointing blame at someone and using I statements. I could go super in depth with that, right? One, it puts somebody on the defensive. The other, it refocuses the issue, right? One of the basic principles of leadership that I taught as a certified Achieve Global Leadership Facilitator is that you never attack the person. You always address the behavior. Because once someone feels attacked, I mean, you know how you feel when you're attacked. You're not listening to nobody. You don't want to be bothered with that person. The conversation is done. That's basic principle number one. Don't attack the person, but deal with the behavior. That's leadership. Number 4 is to find common ground before you dig in. Now, a lot of difficult conversations turn into power struggles because people skip this step, and you cannot skip this step. When conversations heat up, you got to flip the energy. A real leader knows how to reset the energy and get everybody back on the same page. They just do, right? That's a mark of being a great leader. So let's say that you and a colleague disagree on how to approach a particular project. You want to be innovative, and they want to stick with the same way of how they're currently doing things, right? So instead of arguing their approaches, you got to slow it down. You got to listen, clarify, and paraphrase. So your main concern is protecting our current customer base and minimizing risk. Is that right? Then if there's overlap, find out what that is. We both want the same thing. We both want to protect this particular project. We want the project to succeed, and we want our customers to be happy. Now you're on the same page. Now you got the foundation, right? So now you got to say, hey, well, what if we test out this new idea on a smaller scale while keeping pace with the current process that we have today? Does that work? You got to figure out how to turn conflict into collaboration. I love the path to synergy model and the 7 habits of highly effective people because it's just a great model, right? And so I'm going to break that model down for you just real quickly because I think it's just one of the best models out there. All right, so number 1 is you got to ask, are we really open to trying something different, trying something new? Not my way, not your way, but a higher way, a better way. Number 2 is you got to get clear on what winning even looks like. What are you actually trying to accomplish? What's the end goal? 3 is that you got to start breaking out those ideas. You got to put all the ideas on the table. You got to flip them. You got to test them. You got to break it down. You got to see what works, see what doesn't work, right? So that's number 3. And number 4 is exploring the third alternative. Where can you go from here based upon all those ideas? That's synergy. That's leadership. Number 5 is to know when to pause and to take care of yourself. Here's the biggest part leaders don't talk enough about. Because sometimes the smartest move in a difficult conversation is to pause. I know people don't like it, but sometimes you got to pause. You're in a meeting, everyone's tight, people are cutting each other off, body language is loud, you can feel it, right? Strong leaders don't just push through and say, we're just going to get this done and let these tensions just remain the way that they are. No, they're going to call it out and say, hey, look, I can tell that, everything's getting heated. We're going to take some time, 10 minutes, and we're going to come back with some fresh energy. That pause can change everything, whether it's a walk, a breath, a reset, no matter what it is. People can come back calmer, ready for the conversation to be taken, to the next level. This applies to you as a leader. You can't allow this to drain yourself. You got to protect your energy. You got to have clarity. You got to be healthy, even during all these situations, stressful situations, because trust me, you don't want your body making decisions for you. You don't want to play yourself into thinking that you can just push through forever. That ain't leadership. You can't push through forever. You got to take time. All right. So here's the thing as a wrap up. You got to learn how to set the stage. You got to listen to understand. You got to address behavior, not the people. You got to find common ground, and you got to know when to pause. These aren't tricks. These are skills. And of course, like any skill, the better you get with it, the better you're going to be at it, right? That's the thing. So if this hits home with you, don't just watch. Don't just keep it moving. Drop a comment. What's the hardest conversation you are avoiding right now? And if you like what we're doing, right, this new strategy that I got, share, like this video so other people can see it, right? Turn on the notification bell so that you could be alerted when I drop new content. And as always, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in. And remember, to unlock your leadership effectiveness, you must master the cheat code. I'm gonna see you next time.